So, good afternoon. I hope everyone's doing well. Yes. So, it's a very pertinent kind of like, I would say, a discourse. So, I'll start off with the first question over here. We'll start off with you, ma'am, if that's okay. We'll be sharing the mic as we go. So, students are increasingly looking for study opportunities in Europe and in Asia. So, what are the key factors driving demand for higher education in European and Asian nations?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Europe definitely is the most desired, study destination. We have so many good universities, whether it's Netherlands, whether it's Ireland. Um, there is a little bit of hype about US and Canada visa application process. So stay back opportunities are better there, and because of which US, yes. And depending on the majors, if you're going with non-STEM majors, if you're looking for majors such as if you want to pursue medicine, Europe is a country that allows you to pursue this major immediately after your high schooling. Whereas countries such as US and Canada, they believe that children are still young. They give them the flexibility to select this professional major during their post-graduation. So because certain majors, definitely it is Europe. And when it comes to Asia, definitely I would suggest that it's Singapore.
I see the smile on the face. Yes.
When it comes to technology, it is Singapore, and Singapore is doing really well. Stay back opportunities, subsidized tuition fees, scholarship opportunities. These could be the factors that students are also looking towards Europe and Asia as study destinations.
Absolutely, because traditionally speaking, I mean, I can talk about the fact that back in the day when I was a kid, but I don't want to get into that because I'm ancient. But there were different opportunities back then, but all that glitters is not gold. So I would like everyone to kind of specify the opportunities present as well. Yes, let's ask you this.
Yeah, I think she answered really well. I think first and foremost, what parents are every family is looking for is return on investment. Let's be very clear. You're going for education, but at the end of the day, you're going for career and employability. So in Europe, the fees of the universities are one fourth, and in some cases one fifth, as compared to the US or UK. I mean, for most of the programs, engineering, business, and medicine specifically, it's very very affordable. I think this is one. Second, I think the cultural immersion that you get in Europe. You get to learn a new language. Like initially, a lot of students are afraid of learning a new language, but when they go to Europe, they're actually enjoying it. Like they're already well versed in English, but now they get to learn a new language like German or Dutch, or French. So I
Bonjour.
think, yeah, bonjour.
That was a really
So
bad attempt. I'm sorry.
so I think these are like two things I would say. And apart from that, the post-study work opportunities in Europe are pretty much consistent for the last 10 years. If you see with the US and Canada, it's up and down, right? Every year you see rules are changing. But in Europe, the post-study work opportunities as well as part-time work opportunities, there's a consistency in what the government is trying to do. So that is attracting a lot of students.
Absolutely. That's a very good word, consistency. Ma'am,
When you talk about work opportunities, whether it's during term time or post term time, that's when you finished your degree, both are connected. If you've spent time in a university and you've been diligent and proactive from year one to figure out where you're going to intern over summer, where you're going to part time, build a network. And let me tell you, when you have a placement opportunity, whether it's in the UK or you have a co op, whether it's in Canada, you are going to build that network during that time to get your job even before you graduate. So, my advice is that look at that. Don't worry about the country. As long as you prove yourself wherever you are, your job will happen because you will have that time to network beforehand.
I told you she's a superstar, a rock star for a reason. Yes, yes, sir.
That's true to the context. Like, it's not only Canada or US, it is applicable everywhere. Because when we look at Germany, also for that matter, a lot of people were having this misconception. Like, you need to know the language. It's important, but at the same time, you have a lot of private universities also in Germany, which are very affordable, right? Public universities are free, but private universities are very affordable, and if you study well, you network well, then obviously during your summer breaks you can do your internship in good companies. Yeah, so it's very much doable, and that is why Europe stands out now, and they are very flexible even with their immigration policies. Things have changed for good. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. Mr. Kadir, I'd like to kind of tweak this question for you, if that's okay. So, if you're talking about European nations, I would like to say that, they're kind of seeing a rise in medical student interest. So, what makes Europe such a compelling, I would say, destination for medical programs specifically?
I think it's the value proposition that Europe offers. You have 6 year degrees, like you rightly mentioned, as opposed to 8 year degrees in the US and Canada. But at the same time, you're getting a quality education of universities that are ranked in the top 200, top 300 in the world. And after that, you not only have the option to pursue medicine in that country, you also have access to the EU as a whole. Like, it opens up different doorways for you. So I think when a student looks at it from that perspective, not only is he getting a European education, he's getting access to different markets, he's getting to learn different culture, and then he can practice pretty much anywhere in the world.
Absolutely, sounds fantastic. Thank you so very much, sir. Mr. Hoja, yes.
Yes, for sure. I think since I'm from a different part of the world, and in fact, why students come to Albania, for example, to study? First of all, Albania is a very beautiful country.
There's no doubt about that.
Every country is beautiful. But what makes Albania different for me is that you can enjoy it 365 days. We just came here and we cannot enjoy a lot.
Should we be jealous?
Abu Dhabi.
He's trying to make us jealous.
No, I'm just inviting you
Yes.
to come and visit Albania.
Yes.
And of course, we are new in the market, not as a university, but as a country. Till now, of course, Albania, despite of being in the heart of Europe, being part of European community, being part of NATO, a very secure country, but till now we didn't have a lot of international students. We just started, and in fact, we are proud that we as a university started this last couple of years, and we had some really good numbers of students from India, from this part of the world, from United Arab Emirates, and 25 more countries. And what I see is they, of course, we had a lot of doubts. How we will start? How will they, get used to Albania, to the culture, to some different, starting from meals.
And not to mention the beautiful weather.
Yeah,
Yes.
they are enjoying it very, very, very good. And for example, some of colleagues here were talking about medicine. We have a medicine program, and that I think makes some differences because at our university, the curriculum, of course, is designed and followed by Cambridge School of Medicine. That's another part. But we start with clinical practice since the very first beginning, since the first year, because the university is part of the biggest hospitals group in the region.
Yeah.
We just in capital city in Tirana, we have 4 hospital campuses, and our students get to that atmosphere of the hospitals from the first year.
Right.
And makes it somehow it very interesting and attractive for students, and for students who really want to be good doctors, hopefully.
Of course.
And Albania, of course, after us, a lot of universities started in searching for the markets for international students. Some of them started to, because till now they only had programs in Albania, they started with English programs. And I hope it will be a really good hub for education, because diplomas are, of course, recognized all over Europe. We are part of Bologna system, and all courses are evaluated in ECTS, European Credit Transfer System. They can transfer very easily to other European universities. They can study for some years in Albania, then they can transfer to other countries. Most of the students, of course, have some, because Albania is more affordable than the rest of the Europe.
So we have lots of questions related to that. Now
And,
that you mentioned the
I
affordability factor.
just wanted to say that because in Albania, for a student, for 400 to 500 euros, they can live monthly, including everything, accommodation, meals, transportation, etc. It's affordable. The quality of education is quite good, and why not? And the diploma is recognized all over Europe. After finishing there, they can be transferred very easily to another European country to not only for internship, but also to work and to live there.
Absolutely,
And,
absolutely.
at our university at least, because it was a great demand. We started with German courses, French courses, and Italian courses for free for international students who want to study these courses. Because all programs, of course, are conducted in English, but most of them want to learn another language. And
Absolutely.
of course, it makes them more rich
Yes.
in terms of not just knowledge, but also they can travel and they can speak and they can face different cultures, different traditions.
Sure, we're going to come to that in just a bit. But now that you mentioned the affordability part, I have a very pertinent question for everybody here, and that is a major issue, the issue of visas. How many of you can relate to that? Can you please raise your hands? The issue of visas, whenever you're applying, I mean, that is the biggest issue so far. So we're going to start off with you, ma'am. So visa policies and immigration pathways are often the make or break factor for students, right? So, which countries are currently striking the best balance between education and post study opportunity?
Yes. See, my heart goes to US in spite of all the hype that's happening. What I believe is whether it is US, whether it is Canada, whether it is any of the European countries, all these countries, they require quality students. If a student is genuine and has bagged good admits and also has good financial background to showcase, study permit is never denied. So, irrespective of the government policies and changes, all these countries they require international students because they bring in a lot of revenue.
Correct.
All international students they pay twice of what the in-state students pay. So if you're a genuine student, what we say is don't bother. The rules keep changing.
Yeah.
It's like a wheel, where you start, you again land up at the same place. So, as a student, what you need to do is you need to concentrate in building a great profile and see where you're the right fit. Are you the right fit for US? Are you the right fit for Canada? Are you the right fit for UK or any other European countries based on your profile, based on the majors that you want to pursue? Because for a genuine student, none of the countries will deny visa.
That is fantastic news to hear also. I think it kind of depends on the right kind of profiling, as you mentioned. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would say I think UAE doesn't get enough credit. I think the golden visa, like a lot of students who have good grades, they're getting 10 years visa, right? I mean, which country gives 10-year visa nowadays, right? So I think UAE deserves a lot of credit. They have also revamped their policies for part-time work opportunities for students. So now students can, work part-time here in the UAE, which was not possible, say, 4 or 5 years ago. And then I would say Germany, which was already mentioned. So Germany has struck a very good balance in terms of the ability to work part-time. You can work on an average 3 to 5 hours every day, which is really good. Even after graduation, you can work from 12 to 18 months, and then you can apply for your PR as well. And along with that, the popular Commonwealth countries like Canada. I mean, there is a lot of rumor going around, Canada, but still pretty much the post-study work permit is still in place, the PR is still in place. So as long as you're a quality student, a motivated student, and you have the financial capability to support your studies, I think you can make it in any country. But yes, emerging ones, I would say UAE is really good destination. We have seen students from neighboring countries are preferring to come to UAE, and then Germany, and then the English-speaking countries still, I think, hold its value till now. Yeah.
Fantastic. So I'm team UAE as well. I definitely agree with you, especially on the golden visa part. I think they've made it very lucrative for everybody. Yes, ma'am.
So, what Seema said, what they just said, just to give you one more thing ahead of that, because yes, it's true, it doesn't matter where you apply, your study permit will never be denied if you can justify that you're a genuine student and you're coming in for the right purpose and that you hold the academic credentials that allow you to get admitted. The UAE, of course, fantastic with its initiative to have the students get absorbed and stay in the workplace. Malta, an interesting fun fact. You graduate from a university in Malta. If you work in the country for 2 years, the government will refund 70% of what you paid for your tuition. That's a fun fact.
Can I apply even at this age?
Yes, there is no age limit.
Perfect. I love that. Yes, sir.
I would love to add two more beautiful countries into it, which is Australia and New Zealand, right? Because they are, you go for your education, you get at least 3 to 4 years of stay back, right? And things are very much streamlined. So during that period of your stay back, after you graduate, be it undergraduate or postgraduate, you work for some time and then you apply for PR. So which is very clear, and for certain countries it's quite not very straightforward, but for these two countries I think it's very straightforward. Yeah, so for me it's kind of Australia and New Zealand. Yeah.
Okay, so you have Team Australia and Team New Zealand for sure. I think you mentioned this before also. I'll start with Mr. Kadri. Would you like to add something over here?
I think what the other panelists have described, that's in addition to all of that, I think the UK is also making a bit of a comeback these days.
Correct.
In terms of relaxing their rules for PR, and as well as they already had the post-graduation work permit in place, but now they've relaxed their immigration rules as well. So now it takes less time to get up.
Absolutely. So the visa policies for your country.
Yeah, it's very easy. It's very easy to get a visa. In fact, we have some struggle with our partners. One of them is sitting there in the back because we have some barriers in admitting students because we want quality students. And he is pushing to send every single student. But unfortunately, is important, once the student is admitted by the university, the visa is very easy. It's e-visa. You don't have to go to any embassy. You just apply from your home or your representatives anywhere, and 100% of them manage to get the visa. And once you get the visa, of course, you are allowed to work part-time, 20 hours per week, for during all time of your studies. And most of our students, in fact, are working part-time.
That sounds great. So, we talked about a lot of different countries. We talked about the US, we talked about Canada, Australia, and of course, there was Malta in between that was a bit of a surprise also. And I am going to be applying now that you mentioned there's no age limit. So, let's talk a bit about the study opportunities in these countries. So, what steps should the students take to prepare for studying in these countries, from choosing the right university to meeting admissions and visa requirements? We'll start with you, ma'am. You have the mic, please? Thank you. It's like passing the parcel, right? So, yes.
Yeah, when it comes to US and Canada, it's more of holistic. So it's your 4 years that goes. So you don't wake up when you're in grade 12, but you start right from grade 9. So your academic profile definitely plays an important role, but it's not only your academic profile. And this is what we emphasize, because many parents, they come to us, they say that, hey, he stepped into grade 9, now he just wants to focus on the academics, and all the extracurricular activities come to a standstill. No, you need to know, how do you balance? Because life is not only about your academics. It does play an important role, but it's your leadership skills, your adaptability, your resilience that will help you to adapt in a new environment. Participating in healthy extracurricular activities, building your profile, including yourself in passionate projects, what academic majors would you want to pursue, exploring that plays an important role. And these are the hidden attributes that the universities do look at when it comes to application process. So it's your 4 years of your academic profile, it's your 4 years of your personal growth. How have you evolved in this 4 years through different activities? You win, you lose, but it's all about participating, and it's all about learning through the process that can be shown in the application. And that's how equal weightage is given, because nowadays universities have realized that life is beyond academics, because you're going to step out from your comfort zone and stepping into a new country. So when it makes it easy for you to adapt, socialize when you participate in different clubs. There are mental awareness clubs, there are community clubs, there are cultural clubs, there are sports clubs, and that makes it easy for you to be at home away from home. So it's your entire profile when it comes to US and Canada. Well, UK is more academically oriented. They say that you come to us, be academically oriented, know what you want to study. There are not much frills attached to your application. So different countries have different approaches, but yes, you need to have a balanced approach when it comes to having your academic skills and also your personal skills, and getting ready for the different tests that the different countries ask for, whether it is SATs or whether it is UCAT, preparing for your language proficiency or any other European language that you're aiming for.
Well, thank you so much for that. I'm going to ask you a UAE-centric question, so you have to wait for that, okay? Because he's Team UAE, so I was like, I have one question specially for him. So I'm going to ask you something. I love the fun fact. Okay, we're talking about study opportunities. Do you have more such fun facts for us as well? Or,
Many.
Please
There's
share,
four
because
out.
we'd love to know.
Sure. What a fun fact on?
Like the study opportunities we just mentioned in US and UK and Canada, but anything interesting from your side, because we're loving the way that, you're kind of explaining things to us. Yes.
Okay, let me try. It's not coming in the top of my
Okay.
mind now, but let me give you a personal example. Between two of my degrees, I wanted to explore a country and teach English just for the sake of it. So I actually enrolled in a course that was 6 months where I studied online, which gave me to spend 2 months in a European country where I would teach a non-English citizen English. And so that led me to Rome, and I worked there for 2 months where I taught adults English. And I think the work opportunity or the cultural immersion I had during that time was fantastic, because I could connect with so many different people later. The work opportunity is one aspect, but being able to work in a multicultural environment is a whole new level. Put yourself out there, go work with all kinds of people. It'll make you understand how to deal with all kinds later in life.
Well, you know what they say about Rome, right? When in Rome. So you definitely did that for sure. You talked about Australia and New Zealand, and I would love to know, and in fact, everyone over here, about the opportunities over there.
So basically, with all these countries like Australia and New Zealand, you're allowed to work for 20 hours in a week, right? And like I mentioned, that students, after completing 1 year, they end up working in their own industry, which is a game changer. So that before you even graduate, you have worked with multiple companies in your own industry, and you stand a strong chance to get yourself a job in those countries because you have networked well, you have proved your worth, right? So all of that makes a lot of difference. So that is there with all these countries, and that's a game changer.
Absolutely, that is definitely a game changer. I think I would come back to you, sir, now, because I really wanted to focus on the UAE
Another fun
positioning as well. Yes?
I have another fun fact.
You do? Okay.
After university, a lot of kids actually, if they present and showcase an idea, the university might actually fund them to do their own startup. That's something that also happens.
That is fantastic.
I think she should continue. I'm also loving it.
No, we're loving the fun facts over here, okay? She needs her own radio show over here. So, yes, we were talking about the UAE. So, how is the UAE positioning itself as a serious contender on the global education map, A, and especially in terms of career alignment and post-study opportunities?
Oh, that's a great question. I think UAE already has positioned itself as the leader in a lot of aspects in tourism, in fintech. Now we see a lot of crypto companies coming. So UAE in general is already there in everybody's consideration. But from the education point of view, now if you see the universities, the local universities have leveled up their game. Their curriculum is pretty advanced, is top notch as compared to the US or UK. A lot of foreign university campuses are setting up branches here. So if you typically don't want to go to the UK or USA, UAE government is very welcoming to allow these foreign universities to set up, campus here. So you can do your undergraduate program here and then go for the masters to the home campus. And then we talked about the golden visa. The part-time work opportunities are losing, like the opportunities have increased a lot. The collaboration between the industries and the universities, which doesn't used to happen that much before. Now I see a lot more companies visiting UA universities campuses. Students are getting placements for internships, even for full-time job opportunities. Did I miss anything, guys? I mean, I think.
No, can I just add
I
something?
think
It's. I'm glad that you mentioned this because on my shows I always mention one thing: whatever the world does, UAE does it better. Okay, I
absolutely,
just mentioned this. I just had to plug that in. Also, I'm being a little biased over here,
absolutely.
but nonetheless,
Also, I want to add one more thing. Now,
yes.
I've seen even the Indian universities, they're
Yeah,
setting up. Now, I
correct.
see a booth of Symbiosis University,
Yes.
which was not there a couple of years ago. Now, even the top University of India,
Yes.
IITs, they're setting up here. Even the B School, IIM, they're setting up the campus
Yes.
here. So, which is brilliant to see.
Absolutely. You played very well over there, I can see. But yes, sir, I would like to ask you this question pertaining to the medical students over here because, when it comes to the medical students, what would be your take home advice to them about the opportunities of studying abroad and how to kind of prepare for it properly?
Well, for medical students, it depends on which country they're planning to study to. If you're talking about Europe as a whole, what they require for you to study for their university-specific entrance exams. So that's not based on any one particular curriculum because they have their own curriculum. But at the end of the day, the human body is the human body. There's only so much they can differ. So they require for you to study for their own university-specific exams, and then secondly, they would also sometimes place a focus on critical thinking because they not only test you on your academic knowledge, but they also test you on why you want to become a doctor in the first place. So then what is your motivation? They might ask you ethical questions, and then depending on that, then you get admission.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you mentioned this word also because the thing is, empathy is also very important apart from all the technical knowledge that we have in today's day and age. But nonetheless, moving on, another very pertinent question. First of all, I was talking about visa issues and all of that. Next up, the affordability factor. Very important, the sign everyone can read and understand also. So I will carry on further with this. Can you speak on the affordability factor here? How do tuition fee structures, scholarships, or pay after visa models make a difference for middle income students and families, which is very important for us?
Yeah, that's a very good question. But what I understand now, all the countries, they do have this scholarship. We have merit-based scholarships, we have need-based scholarships. So for a genuine student, that's what, you just need to build your profile. If you're academically strong and if you've shown that you have the potential to be the right fit with that university, whichever country that be, there is always scholarship. Yeah, apart from certain majors like probably medicine, where all countries don't give, they don't give so much of offer, they don't offer so much of scholarships. But for STEM related or non-STEM related majors, most of the universities, irrespective of country destinations, there is always scholarship.
I would say I'm asking for a friend, but I'm asking for all the parents out here, actually, to be very honest. Yes, yes. So would you like to chip in? Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's all about planning. As she correctly mentioned, there are scholarships. So if you apply to say US or Canada, most of the universities offer generous scholarship, right? So the fees are higher, so maybe you end up paying $40,000, $50,000, but you might get a full scholarship. Vis-a-vis, you can look at Europe, where there is no fees. For example, in Germany, most of the public university, almost all, are free of charge. So you're by default getting 100% scholarship. There are a lot of universities in Italy. Their fees are starting from 500 euros per year. So they don't differentiate between EU citizens and international students. So they charge the same fees. So it's all about planning. So I advise all the students and parents, research, research, research. And then if, for example, US is you're hell-bent on going to US, then research on the scholarship options, right? But if you're flexible, then also you can consider Europe. And along with that, have a plan A, plan B, and plan C. If plan is not successful, suppose you don't get into your dream university, you consider the plan B option.
Very simple, but very solid advice. I would agree with that. Yes, ma'am.
So what they just said, that obviously research is important, start early, no doubt. Today, since I'm giving you all the fun facts, I'm going to give you another one. Finland, the government really wants international students to come pouring into their country because they have an aging population and they definitely want the younger people to come in, study, and join the workforce. If you cannot afford the accommodation that you like or is your first or second preference, the government will chip in 80% of that so that you complete the course. And then, of course, you're on your own for accommodation. But as a student, the government will support you for that.
Okay, I've just noted down Finland as the second country that I need to apply after this conversation is over.
So the thing with moving abroad is you become responsible, right? And which helps you to plan better. And how it works is with most of the universities and countries, they have option of called co-op, right? So in a 4-year program, you have 4 co-op terms, which equals to almost 16 months, which gives you the opportunity to work in the industry and you get very handsomely paid. So that is available in most of the countries, and students should make the most of it. And the only requirement from the university for these co-op is that you need to maintain your grades, and I believe there's no harm in doing that, right? Because that gets you paid. Yeah.
Correct, correct. That's absolutely correct. Mr. Kadi, would you like to chip in anything related to the medical students and anything in particular related to the fee structure and the affordability factor?
Well, for in terms of affordability, Europe already, as opposed to the US and UK, is already affordable.
Yeah.
But there are scholarships available for students. For example, in Hungary, the government gives you scholarships based on your academic merit as well as your financial background. Sometimes the university themselves, they will also give you scholarships. But again, as opposed to other courses, medicine, it's difficult to get scholarships or funding for that matter.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hoja, so the affordability factor when it comes to your country?
Yeah, about the cost of living, I mentioned before. When it comes to the studying fee, not only giving scholarships, but we have developed a program. We called it EPIC, Education Practice Integrated Curriculum, especially for excellent students, not only to get the scholarship and to get some money for free, just staying at home, but we try to integrate them to the labor market during their studies and get paid for their contribution. For all excellent students of the university during the whole study years, in collaboration with a lot of companies, partner companies, we place them in some positions, and they, of course, in their profession, if there is a medicine student at the hospital, and they get paid for their contribution there during their studies.
That's very nice, actually. And that's very lucrative also. I hope that you're all noting down the points as well as we go. So, last 2 questions for this session, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any questions after that, that's more than welcome also. So, now let's talk a bit about beyond the degree. Okay, so how important are cultural integration, language support, and community inclusion in shaping a positive international student experience? Because honestly speaking, we all want that, like learning a new language, right?
Yeah, it is. It is very important, and that's how early planning helps. Because beyond degree, it's now it's the era of global immersion. So and even employers, they believe in global talent. There is global mobility. So when you have people from diverse cultural, national, ethnic background, the problem solving skills, it's more what you say innovative and creative. So the students, I mean, UAE itself is a cultural hub. We have students over here from Asian backgrounds, from different Asian countries, from European countries. Even taking UAE as an example, rather than studying back in your home country where you are just grouped with a particular set of people, being more culturally and globally inclusive plays an important role. So it's, yeah, so.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's very important for us to understand that diversity also. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I think she's covered a lot of points, and in the previous discussions also, I think we discussed about cultural immersion. But I want to highlight one thing which can be very helpful for students is speaking to the senior students or graduates of the universities, right? They can give you a real life picture of what's happening there. I mean, we all have traveled, been to these universities or countries, but we have not stayed in those dorms or the accommodations, right? We have not sat in the actual classroom as them, right? And things are changing so fast. So I think the best thing would be for students and parents to get hold of their senior students or families who've sent their children and sit with them. We typically just chat with them on social media. Hey, how is there? And they'll reply, it's great. It's, you will see all the Instagram side of their life. But I think students have to take that intentional effort to have a meeting with the students. Okay, you want to go to US, you want to go to California. Okay, sit with the student. How are the classes there? How can I succeed there? What are the negative things I don't know about, which I don't see on the internet? What you want to tell me? Like, doesn't mean all students who have gone abroad are happy. There are a lot of sad stories also, right? Because they're not aware of something or they got a ill advice. So I think the best thing student can do to get acquainted with the culture, with the language, everything is speak to the senior students, out there, or even students who have graduated.
That's very good advice. This reminds me of, in a certain way, mentorship, a certain tier of mentorship, which is very important. Yes,
So
ma'am.
we have this program in Gyanberry. We call it as Super Mentor. So we are still connected with all our students whom we have placed, and we sort of connect our applicants with them, and they guide them, right? And that really helps our applicants, right, to get first-hand information.
Absolutely. That's very nice. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
When you're at uni, you've got a lot of opportunities to mingle with your international crowd. But there's a lot of clubs and societies that are also available, and you should make an effort to move out of your comfort zone and challenge your status quo. Go and be part of, I don't know, the Moroccan community, or go and join the Algerian or even the Albanians. Their music is fantastic. You could learn something from that. So make it a point to connect with other people and don't just be with your own crowd. That's okay. That's comfortable. Get out of that zone.
That is fantastic advice. I love that.
We live in a world of AI. We have Chat GPT, which helps us to decide and
Our bestie,
do a
right?
research, right? So you should do it. Employability is a very important factor in this. I always suggest students that they need to write the top 10 companies they wish to work for, and then they'll get a clear idea those companies are in which country, which can help them decide, right? And then they can prepare everything and they can see if you are open for a change. I feel rest everything will fall in place for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would agree with that. I think we are running short on time also, just 5 more minutes left. So I'll be jumping towards the last question. Then we'll be asking everyone about their takeaways as well. So now the last question is going to be on the lines of with the global sort of like a competition, right? So with the global competition for talent intensifying, do you believe the future of education will be defined more by employability outcomes than academic prestige? I think I'll ask you this question first, ma'am. We'll start with you this time around. Yes.
I think the world is changing. The world has changed. There was a time when there was an academic prestige that overtook everything and anything. But a lot of and I was talking to this gentleman who actually writes for the Gulf News. He was walking around, an Irish gentleman, and he told me that today things are changing so fast that companies are offering high school students a year of apprenticeship to figure out what it is to understand what the workspace is before they get into that undergraduate degree and understand whether that course is for them. We understand that the world is changing. The academic prestige is important, no doubt. It stays with you. But like I said, don't worry if you need to take a year to figure things out also, because you never know. There might come a time when your skill-based knowledge might overpower everything else. And I recently, another fun fact, I heard from somebody that in Germany, for example, you've got your public and private universities, and this gentleman mentioned about public being free tuition and private being very nominal, at the end of the day, a company, Bosch, a German company, they will know if you can solve the problem. They won't go back and check which university you attended. So that might be something to think about.
Absolutely. Wise words as always. Yes, sir.
I think it goes hand in hand. Practical exposure is the key, right? It's one of the most important things. The degree matters, the brand matters, but at the same time, what you learn during your program makes the difference. So it's very important that students should focus on that. Because if you're not able to implement what you have studied, then I think it is of not great value. And in today's time, that matters the most, because every manager wants to get the job done. Yeah, so if you are able to get that thing done even after your 1 year of education, you are definitely going to get job when you are about to graduate.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. Thank you. With respect to the medical students and medicine in particular, how would you like to answer this question as a takeaway for the audience as well?
I mean, I think what everyone else is describing is definitely holds true. But I think it's also what you take away from your degree, and it's also how you approach your degree. In terms of medical education, if you stay focused and if you learn as much as you can, at the end of it, regardless of wherever you are in the world and regardless of wherever you studied from, you will always find employability as a doctor over there. Because at the end of the day, whatever country you go to, you have to pass the local licensing examinations. And if you studied throughout your time at university, you will know what you're talking about, and people will respect you as a doctor.
Absolutely. Very well said. Yes. Your takeaway for the audience for this question. Yes.
I think there is no, any answer this or that. Both are very important. Of course, academic background is very important, but of course, the other part. Let me say just one thing because maybe we lost it a lot. Uh, when I graduated abroad, away from Albania many, many years ago, and I came back to my country, no one asked me which university are you graduated for. But sit there. If you can do your job, you will stay. If you're not, you will leave. That's
Absolutely.
quite simple. And in the last 35 years, nothing has changed a lot in this part.
Well, that's a constant. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Yes, the last two to go. I think you need to pass the mic a little bit to them also, and then we should be wrapping up this conversation. Yes.
Yes, so I feel there should be a good blend of classroom-based learning with practical-based approach. So, as all my other panelists contributed, that core program, and nowadays universities, most of the universities have implemented core-based program where there's a good blend of classroom-based learning and also giving the practical approach. It is again the leadership skills and the soft skills, your communication skills. Everything matters. It's not only theoretical knowledge. Theoretical knowledge, we have to think beyond that in grooming ourselves and making ourselves ready for the real world.
So striking a good balance. Thank you very much. Yes.
I think career readiness has always been the priority for any family, if you ask. I mean, if they send a child for education, they're always looking at outcome. Okay, what are the post-study work opportunities? What salary I'm going to have? Or, are there campus placement? These are the typical questions from parents. Obviously, the preconceived notion is that if I go to an Ivy League or a top universities, I will probably get a job faster. But at the end of the day, you are looking for a job, or maybe you want to start a business, or you want to become an entrepreneur. So that has always been the precedence in hindsight. Now, I think looking forward, a lot of students, what they need to consider is AI is going to take away almost 45 to 50% knowledge economy based jobs, right? I don't want to create any false rumor here. What I mean by, for example, if you now, we are all chatting with chat gpt, it can do all basic functions of an accountant, it can do all basic functions even of an admission counselor. So those jobs are going to get challenged. So what is going to be important, I totally agree with her, is your leadership skills, your soft skills, how you drive your own career. I think that is going to be very important down the line.
I think you already managed to scare a few of us over here, but I think we'll manage with that. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we will take any questions if you have any. We have about 2 to 3 more minutes. So if any questions that we have from the audience, anyone wants to ask a question, I think make hay while the sun shines because we have experts over here. You won't get that golden chance again. Anything that you have in mind pertaining to the visa issues or affordability factors or some fun facts for that matter. Otherwise, I think it's time for us to say goodbye. So thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please give a huge round of applause to our wonderful, wonderful panelists. Thank you very much.